Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Ich warte seit Wochen auf diesen Tag und tanz vor Freude über den Asphalt. Als wär's ein Rhythmus, als gäb's ein Lied, das mich immer weiter durch die Straßen zieht. Komm dir entgegen.
Hello and welcome to Gegenpressing, the Bundesliga podcast. This is our first big show of the year. As always, I'm your host, Manuel Veth. Here's Stefan Bienkowski. Stefan, today we have something a little bit special planned.
Yes, absolutely. I'd like to say we can kind of drop this as a big surprise, but of course, everyone probably already knows because it's in the title of the podcast. So these guys know what's coming.
Yeah, they do know what's coming. We've actually, and we put this together last minute. Hertha Berlin are in the United States. They're in Florida, where they're doing their training camp. They're playing a bunch of games in the Orlando area. They're training at Brampton at the IMG complex, which I've seen before, Stefan. It's a fantastic complex, huge. And as part of that, the DFL kindly arranged for us to speak with Hertha Director of Sport, Fredi Bobic. And he was very kind with his time, Stefan. Full 35-minute interview. We had arranged 20 minutes initially, but it turned out a lot longer. And we talked about a lot of different topics.
Yeah, he's a really, really thoughtful, well-read guy when it comes to, football development. And, if I was a Hertha Berlin fan, I would be I'd be really optimistic that he's pulling the strings of the club now, because hopefully when people listen to the interview, they'll be able to tell that he's obviously full of bright ideas. He knows exactly what he's talking about. It is very grounded as well. That's the impression I got from it. He's not a snake oil salesman. He's not trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. He's like, I know the hard work that needs to be done at this club, and he's also quite happy to point to the club he quite dramatically left to move to Hertha, which I think we forget how many eyebrows that raised at the time, because Frankfurt were on the ascendancy, Hertha were kind of a mess, and he's now he's not sitting there saying I'm going to perform miracles. He's just kind of pulling his sleeves up and getting on with the hard work. So yeah, I think really nice guy, and some very thoughtful answers, which I know we both appreciated very well.
Yeah, just so you know what's coming, we discussed obviously at Hertha US tour, growing the game, the Bundesliga in the United States, the responsibility of German teams to be a bit more competitive with Bayern Munich. And then, of course, the big one, Stefan, also the national team. And I think Fredi had a lot to say about the national team as well.
Yeah, he's very interested on 50+1 as well, actually, for anyone who's wanting an update on Hertha's stance on that one.
And I think it's really interesting. And, of course, he gives a really good answer on this. But I feel like I've spoken to Fredi Bobic before as part of a roundtable, and he seems like similar to me, always kind of wavering on 50+1, right? He sees a lot of positives, but he also sees the negatives, and like a lot of people, kind of goes back and forward on the idea. And you kind of got both answers here, didn't you, Stefan?
Yeah, and it's great to have someone like that who's in power at a big club in Germany. He's making decisions. And it's good to see that he has he obviously wrestles with it every day, the same way that a couple of dumplings like us do, because no one really has to listen to what we have to say on 50+1. But it's interesting to hear what he has to say. And he is a very influential guy at the DFB and in German football in general. So, yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, really good. Anyways, we should jump right into it after this break. This episode of the Gegenpressing podcast is brought to you by Bet Online. Basketball is back. And BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. And is your continued source for all sports wagering information. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports and events, whether that's NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, or even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your rewards. That's it, BLEAV, to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts. Looking for a place to watch Hertha Berlin in America? Well, the Bundesliga Barfinder app is just the right tool for you. The Bundesliga Barfinder gives US fans an opportunity to find the best bars to watch their favorite Bundesliga teams. Fans in the US can select their location and find registered bars closest to them. The Barfinder helps fans find fellow supporters in their area, as well as providing the perfect tool to traveling fans to watch their favorite matches. The Bundesliga and Hertha Berlin will be hosting a meet and greet at the Hub and Zelt in Orlando at 5 p.m. on January 11th prior to the match versus Millonarios. There will be player appearances as well as prizes. So download your Bundesliga Barfinder app right now and make sure that you never miss a Bundesliga game in the United States ever again. Yeah, and we're now joined by Director of Sport from Hertha Berlin, Fredi Bobic. Fredi, first of all, thank you so much for doing this. We're very pleased to have you on the show. You are in Orlando, Florida at the moment with Hertha doing a mini US tour. So I guess the first really important question here is, what's that all about and how important is it for Hertha to have a presence in the United States?
Yeah, first, thanks for having me here. We are not in Orlando, we are in Bradenton, Florida, in the IMG Academy, what is really nice here. Yeah. So my goal was always with my teams, also in the former team when I was in Frankfurt, like now in Berlin, to come to the US. You know, US is a big market, football is growing here. So why not come here? We have perfect conditions here in the academy. We have 18 football pitches, I think, here. So all are really perfect. Sunny sky, yeah, in Florida, like always. Yeah, really nice. And perfect conditions for everything, you know. And the team is happy to be here, and I have the experience. It's time for me to come here in winter. It was 2 times with Frankfurt here, now with Berlin. And so we will start also, and the goal, you know, until 2026, when the World Cup is based in the US, Mexico and Canada, but more in the US. That will be for us always an interesting market.
Yeah, you mentioned there, Fredi, that you've obviously been to the United States with now 2 clubs, obviously Eintracht Frankfurt and Hertha Berlin. In your experience in football, have you noticed a difference or perhaps a change in the number of football fans in the United States that have an interest in German football, have an interest in the Bundesliga? And, you know, is it something that you have noticed? And if so, is it something that gives you encouragement?
Yeah, I have this. I noticed this for the last years. You know, it's a bit in Germany. Not like most of the teams, they don't like to make a trip to the US because of the distance. You know, yeah. But I'm in this point different because I believe also what happened here in the US, and I saw it in my former club how quick after 2-3 years, everybody, or mostly a lot of soccer people in the US recognized the club, you know. So that's why I've started also with Hertha the program right now to say, okay, we will come here. I was 2 days ago in Kansas City for talks, you know, to see everything what they have, the training grounds and facilities, but also meeting the sporting director, the CEOs, everybody, you know. That was also nice to see, yeah, in winter. But they have perfect conditions as well, and so looking forward to coming back, but see also a big support from the American side, from the American fans. I know that a lot of people not following mostly the Premier League, but as well also the Bundesliga is becoming more and more important here.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to be my follow-up right here, because there's been a recent statistic released by a statistic on TV viewership in the United States on the biggest leagues, and the biggest league by far is the Premier League with 50%, followed by Liga MX with 38%, and it's MLS with 9%. The Bundesliga viewership in the United States for soccer viewers is only 1%. Fredi, how do you make inroads in there? How do you get more Americans to watch a game? Is it almost a little bit too late for German teams to come over to the United States, or is this now the time when you say, okay, we have 4 years to the World Cup, let's push hard?
Not only because of the World Cup, I think you have to do that, yearly. To come here, then you can also you also can grow a fan base or people they recognize the club and know that we are very good partners. They're coming not only to come here to get some money or something or sponsor something like that. So we do it a little bit the other way. Like I did also in the past. We had a 2 months ago in November. We had a nice convent in New Jersey. So the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, is a big fan of Hertha Berlin. He was ambassador in Berlin for the US. So funny thing is, his daughter played with my daughter in a team in Berlin. So the world is really small. So we had a nice convent with around 100 people from all other football clubs or soccer clubs, like you said here. Soccer clubs, but as well also from other sports like baseball from the Yankees or from the Giants, the football. And talking about analytics in football, research. And that was also a good start. You can do it also the other way. So starting easy, and then if the other side, the US side, see, okay, we are a very good partner. You can trust us. We're coming in to change ideas and also experiences in soccer. I think it's valuable. It's big value for both sides.
Fredi, I'm really intrigued to know from a Bundesliga point of view, perhaps the obstacles that seem apparent for football fans that maybe German clubs have to contend with when they're trying to break into the United States market. For example, perhaps most football fans would naturally enjoy the Premier League because it's perceived as more competitive, or perhaps they would have a stronger inclination to La Liga if they're Spanish speaking. Are these obstacles that you've noticed since, in your career trying to promote the Bundesliga in Germany or in the United States, sorry? Or is that something that, people talk a lot about on Twitter, but when you're actually marketing the league, it's not something that comes up that often?
That's right, but I know that the leagues like the Premier League or the top two teams in La Liga, also you have a lot of Spanish-speaking people here in the US. It's a little bit easier. Also, the old Commonwealth side, everything about that. They did a very good job in the beginning of the beginning of this 2000 year 2000 when they're starting the program here. So we're a little bit behind, but we can be confident, in that. I think why not, to come here. We have also a lot of German people in the US, more than you can imagine. And I saw these German people all over the country. And I think this is a start. It's a start for us, and also the Bundesliga is a really nice product. We have a high percentage goal average. We have full stadiums. It's always nice to watch. They're very attractive, the stadiums, and also the clubs. But you have to do it how do you say it?
Sustainable.
Yeah, sustainable. You have to do it sustainable. And that's what we try to do also in the Bundesliga. To get more the focus on the US soil, and so I know the other clubs or the other leagues like the Premier League, they have the big stars, and in the US that's valued a lot if you have the big stars. And but I see only the Premier League it's a step or two steps in front of us, but not La Liga or something like that, because they have only two clubs, and not more. Who you can recognize here in the US.
I think one of the things that I always notice living in North America and working for a German company at the same time is that there seems to be an inclination to say about the Bundesliga, well, it's only Bayern Munich and no one else, right? The fact that Bayern Munich have dominated the league now for so long. And if you watch the Bundesliga on a regular basis and you really spend time with the product, you understand that it's actually quite a competitive league everywhere else but the title. So I guess the question and then I have, especially if you want to break into the US market, what do other Bundesliga teams, and I include Hertha in this because of the size of the city that you guys play in and the commercial power that a club like Hertha potentially has, what do you have to do to be more competitive in the league and maybe ensure that there is a title challenger against Bayern Munich, but also, to help grow the market elsewhere outside of Germany in that regard?
I know everybody is looking for titles, and the big clubs. That's sometimes a problem, and this is the problem from the league right now. Yeah, Bayern Munich is so far away from all other clubs. They did a good job, not in the last years, in the last decades. So for us as Hertha, we have to find a good we have first to do the right basics. We had a lot of money, so we lost a lot of money as well before I arrived here. That's a shame, but it happened. So we have to start over again. But then we will do that. So I'm very confident that we can change this because Berlin is very known in the States. As a city. But also we can also work on the brand of Hertha. But for the league is very competitive and it's very interesting because also for Bayern Munich it's not so easy to win against the team down in the table. They also they have to put all the effort also in these games. So but the Bundesliga as a product is so interesting because we have so many changes also in the league. If you see, for example, it's just my former club. It's Eintracht Frankfurt. What they achieved, they also been nowhere. So now they win the European League. They won the cup against Bayern Munich, and now they're always fighting for the Champions League spots. And that's Bundesliga is not only to win the title. It's always interesting also who will qualify for the Champions League or for the Europe League, but as well, what is also really interesting, what the Americans don't know so much, is the fight for against to be relegated. The relegation zone. If you see, and I had now this experience last season against Hamburg. We played against Hamburg in the 2 games. 74,000 people are watching this in the stadium in Berlin, and the back game also in Hamburg was sold out. The stadium more than, and this is for Germany a lot. 12 million people watch this in television. More than a game from a national team. So you see, we have a lot of fights, a lot of tradition, a lot of history in this club, and all the clubs are really interesting. But we have to show it more with more confidence also international. The problem is for us, we have the TV market is a little bit down after COVID, and we have to work more on the international side, not only on the national side.
Fredi, you obviously mentioned your previous club and the lengths and the progress that Frankfurt have made in the last 12 months. On this podcast, we often talk about the sleeping giants in the Bundesliga. Frankfurt, I guess, were one, maybe not so much now. Schalke, Hamburg, etc., etc. Where would you place Hertha Berlin in that list of big clubs in Germany? I'm not asking specifically for a ranking, but what kind of potential, what kind of dreams and hopes do you have for Hertha, and where do you think they could what could they reach in the German Bundesliga?
The example of Frankfurt is could be also example for everybody, for clubs with tradition, with a great name, from the past as well. So, but also for Hertha, So it is possible, but you have, and that's what I learned in England when I played there. You have to do the basics right on the pitch, off the pitch. And if you not do the basics right, then you have problems, And still, if you're if you're only looking back and say, "Oh, history was nice, we won a title and we were a big club," and the other clubs are coming and smaller clubs are coming and doing a better job because they work together. So you need And that's also what was I working right now in the last 1.5 years. We have changed a lot in the club, really a lot, from we say in Germany, we turn it from right to left, and so many new employees working really hard to get on the right track again. So, but we have to do the basics right, and from there you can start, and if you're confident enough and you made good transfer periods, and good, you can sign good players. So value go up, and you will also see it at the end on the standings that you grow. And Hertha had the potential, is really a sleeping giant. But first you have to start, not to talk about it. And this was in the past the problem. They talked about it, how big they are, but achieved nothing,
Yeah, sorry, just to jump in there, Manu, very quickly. If
that's the truth, So that's the truth. It's hard to say something like that.
No, of course,
but it's the truth.
Well, I think Hertha fans would appreciate that honesty because, with all due respect, I think the club has been one of many false dawns, as you said. Previous investors and well, not owners, but I guess investors is the correct term, have promised so much more. So do you think your main job at the club is to change the culture there and to perhaps provide results before you start making promises?
Yeah, this is like on the pitch, if you have a team, they work together and they chase one goal, then you will have, at the end, you will have success, and the mentality for that, And very important is an inner club around the team is the communication. Communication are not working with your investor, with your boards and sponsors and everybody. Then you will feel it also on the field at the end. So that's a big problem sometimes. Because to be honest, to be transparent, to be clear in your mind. So I know it's difficult. It's difficult. This is. Not only a problem in Berlin, it's in a lot of clubs, all over the world, that sometimes they are not so clear and not so, let's say, they try also to paint a picture, paint a picture like this is the perfect world, but it is not, So you have to be very, you have to criticize yourself as well and reflect yourself always in this business. If you don't do that, you live in a dream world,
You mentioned the investor there, Fredi, and I understand if you can't go into detail yet because my understanding is it's not 100% done yet, but you had Lars Windhorst, 77 Partners seems to be the new partner. What's the latest on there, and how important is that relationship with a new investor? I understand 77 Partners have already invested in clubs in Brazil, in Belgium, in France, in Spain. What's the latest on there, and what do you hope this is going to do to the club?
First of all, in Germany, we are unique. We have the majority is always on the member side, with this 50+1 rule, and that makes it a little bit. So we are the only country doing this, But okay, we respect this. This is our way, It's a different way. We have no owners, we have investors, but we are some steps away to have a solution also with 777. What the good thing about 777 is, only to say it very shortly, they have knowledge about football, so that's good. They have some football people inside, and also they have some shares from other clubs as well, in Europe, and that makes it a bit easier. The understanding, a good investor is always if these guys understand how the rules are and how the rules are in Germany is different. They are not owners. They give some money, but as well they have to believe also the operative people who are working every day for the success. That makes it a little bit difficult, if you give a lot of money and have not 100% control. So they are not owners. They have to understand this is a little bit in a different way, what we're doing in Germany. But we always looking for good owners, I think, and good owners, good investors, What is also very important, so that you can also survive, because after COVID, was much more important to have this money, from an investor, also from the former investor, that money was very important for us also to close the gap, financially.
You mentioned 50+1 there, Fredi, which is obviously often the elephant in the room when we speak to clubs about marketing and global aspirations and investors. And if I was speaking to a football fan in Germany right now, they would obviously say, yes, it's very important. It's what makes German football. But if I'm speaking to you now, a director of football, a sporting director, someone who looks at the bank balance every week, how do you think of 50+1 as an obstacle, or is it something that can limit the capacity of German clubs to compete internationally? Or do you think is it capable for Hertha Berlin to, rival clubs in Spain and France and England while still adhering to these rules?
Yeah, that's a good question, So sometimes it could. From first look, is always it looks much easier if you have a owner, It's also a short way of communication, and also for decision making, But so we are in Germany different, You said about the fan, and the fan they love the fans in Germany. They love that we have the rule 50+1, so also they have something to say, and. That's also a good thing. So it's not on me right now, but it makes it more competitive, to if you are let's say a club who play in the Europe League or in the Champions League, it's very difficult to compete against the other clubs. But the problem is, and you see it also, that the owners are changing very fast at the moment in Europe. So that's also an advantage for us very often in Germany. We know what we have, and we know our structure. So we can stay on track. So we don't have these problems that another owner is coming and change everything in this club. From the employees to the players and buying new players and and very often you see also it's a big mess about that. Especially if I see in the Italian Serie A, what happened there.
Yeah, I think that's a question that is always on everyone's mind, and I think 50+1 is always something that people are very divided on. And I'm personally, as a German, I know I always kind of go back and forth on whether I'm for it or against it. So I totally understand.
Right. You always think as a supporter also you will lose the control, but you never will lose the control at the end. So also a good owner knows how important are the fans, and I can remember 20 years ago when Abramovich took over Chelsea, everybody say this is the end of football, and Chelsea is still a great club, still a great club with and have great supporters and still their culture, So nothing happened. They had more success, at the time. And also the owner was for full, until the war started, for a long time. Very important for this club. But I will not forget what all was written and said, 20 years ago when he started.
I guess, Stefan, I just want to jump in on this as a German. I live abroad, but I'm still German, and I need to ask this question. Fredi, 2 World Cups in a row now that we didn't make it out of the group stage. You are a former German national team player. You're very involved and outspoken about the German national team at the moment. There is rumors that you could take over from Oliver Bierhoff's job, without commenting maybe on this, because you probably can't. But how do you see the German national team at the moment, and what needs to change for Germany to be competitive again?
Yeah, this was the last 2 World Cups was really hard, to follow. But a little bit different in 18 when we when we got we played very bad in Russia in the World Cup in 2018. Now it's a little bit different, we played well, but not 90 minutes, we lost a little bit of balance, and it was a big disappointment because we have good football players, but what we lost a bit is to feel more the passion and the hunger, to play on result and play also like you saw it by so many other teams, how they defend their own goal, play a bit ugly, what also always was in the past a big plus for when you talk about the German national team, everything was nice. Now we play a little bit like Spain, around, and ball control is great, and 1-2 touches, but it's more, you need more passion, and you need also more work on the defense, sometimes the result is an important thing, in the tournament. Nobody will ask you how you won the title at the end. And if I see 2014, I think we didn't play so great in 2014. Okay, it was 7-1 against Brazil, but you felt always how focused the boys are. They've been in that time, to chase their dreams, and they struggle in some games, but they were fighting so hard, to win this title, and that we have to find back a bit, and we have to change a bit structure as well in the youth, youth football. We have not a number 9. This is a big problem in Germany all the time. So in my program here also in Berlin, I said to all the youth coaches, look for a number 9, believe in these tall boys, if also if there's looking, they're not so good in technique or something like that, but they can develop this, help them, We need these boys, because thank God the football is coming back to the number 9, you need a number 9, and every good club has a number 9, and we forgot that a bit, so it was only about ball position and controlling the game, but the box, we had to have attacked the box, and that was we've been really weak, especially in the World Cup 2018, but as well. And we created a lot of chances to score, opportunities to score a goal in the last World Cup. But you need the right players for that. So you have to work on that. But I believe still in these boys because this is a very good team. This is a very good team, but they need to focus more on that. And we had a focus also in the Qatar World Cup. Was not only on football. We discuss about so many things. It, One Love, armband, and all this. What is not good, The players have to concentrate on the tournament, on the games, and not on some politics things. So that was not good managed. This was not good managed. The critic was high, like always it is in Germany. But I looking forward very positive, especially for the home European Championship in 24. You said about the rumors, to come to an end. Rumors are a lot of here, always on my person. But I said what I said also via media very quickly when my name came around. That I said, first of all, for the football federation, it's very important. What are you looking for? What kind of profile? So now they have a task force. They have to work, and then you can chase the persons, who you think they are the best for this position. But first, you need what this guy have to do and what is his profile. First step, second step.
Yeah. Fredi, perhaps before you have to run, because I'm sure your colleague's probably looking at his watch right now, but on the topic of the national team, the thing that really strikes me about that 2014 team was that you had very strong Bayern Munich team with German players, but you also had a very strong Borussia Dortmund team with German players. And, I know that DFB have put a lot of work in the last 7 or 8 years into changing youth football and introducing more street football and trying to develop different types of players. But I wonder if you had any thoughts on the way that German players, very quickly get snapped up and bought by English teams before they're perhaps even fully senior players. And I wonder if you think it's harder for German clubs to keep these players and develop them properly because there's much stronger pressure to sell when a player maybe only has half a good season.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a problem of modern football anyway. For everybody. Yeah, and the big clubs, and especially the Premier League clubs, they're chasing talents very fast. They pay a lot of money for these guys. So Kai Havertz, for example, is not at the end of his development. He's a fantastic football player, international class. Yeah, but still he's so young. If you see Gündogan, how is he playing in Man City? As an experienced player, how much value he has for the team. And seeing the German national team is still a little bit different. So I say we have enough. And you're right. It's not easy to keep them in Germany when a big club is coming around. It's Bayern Munich or Dortmund. But also if another club is coming around, let's say it's Madrid or it's Man City, it's Newcastle, and the newcomer, with a lot of money, and also then it's sometimes also especially for Borussia Dortmund, very very difficult to hold the player, to give him the money he wants so he can get in another club, So that's the real world of football. I don't like this world of football, Yeah, it's good to make business, but especially for young players, they need protection, and they need time to grow, and but it's always difficult if you talk with the agents or with the player himself or with the parents are involved in this, My parents were never involved in something, They say this is good, So that changed a lot and makes it very very difficult, especially for young players, because if they see sometimes the amount of money what they can get in big clubs, and then trust, they are very important. And with 18, 19, they have to move. Why do they have to move first? First grow, First do the first step, not the second step, And then after a while, you never see the player again, So because you will play that, I don't know, second, third row, something like that in the big clubs. Or be loaned, and that happens so often. But I know that the competition between the big clubs in Europe is so tough. It's so tough. And they had that's why you have to limit this. I think you can do it also from the league, but as well for the FIFA or UEFA. That you say, okay, not so many loans. What they did. That will start. In next summer, not so many loans and protect these homegrown players, for a while, let's say until they are 23, something like that.
Fredi, this has been great, and I know you're probably out of time. So I'm gonna just ask this really quickly because you are in North America. Most North American leagues have that sort of protection, right? Where you're not allowed to be a free agent until you're like 25, 26. Is that sort of what's in the back of your mind there?
I love it, I love it to see that here. Not everything what I see here, the rules and regulations are very, very tough also to study here. I did it in 2015, but they changed a lot. They have the draft system. They protect the young players. Also, they limited also the salaries, for these players. But I think it's good, But this is the US, It's a totally different system. They got a system from the other major sports, like basketball, football, American football as well. And that's to bring to Germany, or not to Germany, but I think to Europe, it's very difficult. So see the European Union in politics, everything is really difficult to come together, and how we can try it, in football, but you will never have all on one side, That's a big problem. That's a big problem about that. You can do it in Germany; it's no problem. We can do it, But then, we are weak against the other countries, So they talk about us, But I'm a big fan of that, So because it makes it more easier, also to planning a season, or to planning also the next 3-4 years, something like that, to hold the team together, and then to grow, to achieve something, But I'm too much realistic to know, and Europe very difficult to do that,
Perhaps we should let you go before we dive into EU legislation.
Yeah, thank God. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much, Fredi.
Thank you for having me. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the time. So Stefan, that was great. Really awesome interview. Any final thoughts on this?
Not really. What I would say is that we're not quite decided what we're going to do with the extra podcast this week, but I think we're going to try and do some sort of debrief on this. So if you're a subscriber to the Substack, and you have some thoughts, please do let us know what you think, and we'll make sure to reference those in the extra podcast. And I think we'll just do a kind of big debrief show on that, unless something huge happens, like I don't know, Borussia Dortmund buy Robert Lewandowski or something. In the meantime, but so if you have any thoughts, do let us know what you think. And of course, as always, we'd like to say a big thank you to people who subscribe to the podcast and people who just listen to the show as well normally and share it on social media as well.
Yeah, 100%. As always, the show is brought to you by Bet Online. As Stefan said, the debrief will be the midweek show. If Borussia Dortmund sign Robert Lewandowski, Stefan, we can also put it in the transfer pot.
That can wait till Friday. That could definitely wait till Friday.
Just saying that show is also still going to come out. We are also back on our regular schedule for writing. Both of us are going to have a piece this week. So, back to normal. And the Bundesliga is about 2 weeks away. So that's exciting as well. But as always, thank you for listening to this. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen.
Ende in Sicht.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.